there is a tendency, black females particularly show this, to seize on something they can identify with, to give themselves a false pride. So they identify with Kamala Harris as a successful black woman. It wasn't like that. She screwed her way to the top.
You knowing Kamala before people knew who she was, and you don't recall her ever pushing her black side, ever?
No. What black side? I mean, what black side? And I find it disingenuous. You get all of these apologists who talk about, yes, she has slaveholders in her background, but it was probably because one of her black ancestors, a woman, got raped. No, that is not what happened in this case. It is directly on the white side, coming straight down, and as her daddy says often, he's Irish and he is Indian. So, where do you get it? Her claim is a false one. So I don't appreciate her taking advantage of the situation. I think it is unfair to the people who she is making a false claim of identity with. And it also is not fair to the people she ought to be identifying with. Somebody's mixed with somebody that's Indian, what do they call him? Meaning Hindu-type Indian.
They call him black.
But her people acknowledge she's a Hindu. So how do you beat the rule if you have the rule applied to you? That's because she's not. She's a fake.
You have a column out today on Rachel Dolezal. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I just kind of poking fun at the fact that she's not by herself in terms of racial fakery.
Freedom struggles are a good thing. Kamala Harris doesn't embody it. I'm going with Our Time Has Come freedom. Jesse Jackson weeping in Grant Park in 2008 when Obama gave his post-election speech, kind of freedom. And I'm saying Kamala Harris is going to appropriate that for her political ambitions? And I say it with a sneer because that's the way I feel about that move. That move of appropriation of my, that is African-American historical inheritance on behalf of her ambition would turn my stomach. She's scripted. She's teleprompted. She's cultivated. It's managed. She was foisted on us. Nobody voted for her in this role. She was manufactured and put in front of us, and we were made to take it. They lead us around through the nose. They got as much to do with the historic liberatory struggles that those spirituals invoke as, I don't know what, they think we're fools. They want to lead us around with a ring through our nose. We, not just black people, of course black people, but all the white people who aspire to be on the right side of the race question, who aspire to be just and virtuous and to think well of themselves. I feel resentment. If I were a Democrat, I'd feel relief. As a citizen, I feel, who are these people? First of all, I say she'd been lying to us for years about the fitness of Joseph Biden. She knew. Secondly, I say, who's running the government? Who's running the country? Who are these people, these shadowy forces? I am respectful of the political efficacy of the machine, which has put Kamala Harris in our place. And I told you my analysis of it was they had to put her in our by the non-democratic means because she wouldn't have survived an actual competition for the nomination that had her going up against the Josh Shapiros and the Gavin Newsoms and the Gretchen Whitmers of the world. She wasn't going to prevail in that contest. And if she didn't prevail, the race mongers would have had a fit. Black woman, denied her natural secession rights.
Oh, Lord.
You see, you told a lie and people seized on it. If you listen to some of the woke folk, particularly black ones, they have shall we say, revision of history to make identifications with certain groups that they think give them status. So what goes on when you do this, there is a tendency, black females particularly show this, to seize on something they can identify with, to give themselves a false pride. They already have enough to be proud of if they actualize their own potential. But they have not been raised, acculturated, and socialized to think that way. So you have to give them something that has the semblance of respectability that they can identify with. So they identify with Kamala Harris as a successful black woman. But Kamala Harris didn't particularly go to the first-class undergrad school. The law school was the same. It wasn't like she busted her ass in all of these jury trials and she did what Johnny Cochran did back in the 60s when he was working at the DA's office and then when he got in private practice. It wasn't like she made these landmark cases, took these civil rights things up and made history with them. It wasn't like that. She screwed her way to the top through a series of paramours who helped her out. Anybody can do that. So you've got this subconscious thing by the black woman saying, I could do that, but on the other hand, I want to ignore that, and I want to say she got there by grace of her accomplishments. No, she has none. But you see, it's something to identify with. A sister got to be vice president of the United States. I'm black and I'm proud. Well, she's not black. She's not being proud of what you got conned. So why don't you just say, I just need to work hard and I will be able to look in the mirror and I don't need a Kamala Harris. I can look at myself and say, I'm that person. I'm that hero or heroine, see.